Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. I am joined for the 2 p.m. show with Adam. He's on his journeys today, and he's even so committed to the show that he's decided to stop off and give us a show. So, thank you, Adam, for coming on, especially after I don't know, like all the stuff you had to go through last night with the edgy game being there, not knowing if it would go for extra time, not knowing if it could go on for that extra amount of time. You'd have to stay even longer, do all your fan vlogs. So thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, no problem. We missed the road trip yesterday, so I thought I'd bring back that ambience for today's video for everybody. Yeah, but no, it wasn't an easy night, Beth. It really wasn't, and a lot of the fan base were on that page last night. It was one of sort of happy to get through, but ultimately we did know what was really going down there, and that was just another abject poor performance from United, and we, like everyone said, kind of got away with it.
Exactly. We did kind of get away with it. And by the way, guys, I will be on the match vlogs again next home game. Just didn't want to risk anything with COVID last night. I am negative now, but didn't want to risk it. So we will be back next week. Anyway,
Yes.
before we get into the topics of last night's game, because I do think there's actually quite a lot to get into and talk about, because you could see a lot of things different ways. There was a few players given a chance towards the end of the game, Donny and Elanga, that we can get into, and then obviously a few players that have been given chance after chance and they're still not hitting that form that we need them to hit. A little bit of luck provided with the VAR. Defensively, positives on that note, but obviously going forward, there is a lot to discuss. Before we get into that, we've got a few transfer stories this afternoon, and there's quite interesting transfer stories to kind of bring to you, and it's something that we can really get into and discuss, because obviously, Adam, I know you've been a fan of Dean Henderson. I've been a fan of Dean Henderson myself in the past. I did call for him to get a chance when De Gea was in poor form last season, and I do think he is a talented keeper. Obviously, De Gea's gone leaps and bounds above this year. He's been Player of the Year for Manchester United. There's no displacing him now. David De Gea is the number one goalkeeper, but apparently Tottenham are monitoring Dean Henderson. He wants to leave. He told Ralph Radney 2 weeks ago he wants to leave. Also, Ajax keen on looking for a loan to materialise. This is coming from Samuel Luckhurst at the MEN, very good journalist, very respected journalist. Do you think with Dean Henderson, he does deserve to leave? He does deserve to go out and get that chance rather than being kept at the club? Because you look at it and you have got Tom Heaton, which I think is good enough to be a second keeper. Like David De Gea rarely gets injured. There is that call for COVID, but should Dean Henderson be allowed to move? And would you be excited to watch him go and play at these clubs? Would you want it to be a loan? Do you think it's going to be a permanent move? What are your thoughts surrounding the Dean Henderson move?
Hendo does deserve a move. He didn't deserve the treatment he got in the summer, and this all comes down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer convincing players again that they're going to get game time. He got his big contract, which we all debated at the time, which we thought was a bit strange. Especially sort of sharing out around about 600 grand a week on goalkeepers at the football club in terms of wages. Henderson earned his corn on loan. He had some good spells. He had a few mistakes last season. He had some good spells as well last season for us. He is an adequate goalkeeper. He's not a number two. Heaton accepts that he's a number two. Henderson thinks he's a number one. So I think for club and for himself, it needs to happen. As for Spurs, no. Conte really wants Lloris to stay. So on Dean Henderson's side of it, I would probably look towards the Ajax. I do think he can adapt his game there better than what he can in England. I think he will learn how to be better on the ball there. He'll learn how to be the sweeper goalkeeper. And I think he can enhance his game personally there. I do think his days are numbered at Manchester United, because I think I can see De Gea in his age. And yeah, he isn't as young as when he first came in. Let's not forget, he's been at the club a decade now, and everyone sees it as sort of like the old guard keep, but he's not. He's got a lot of years left in him. So for me, I think Henderson won't play for Manchester United. I really don't. De Gea's in too good a form, so Henderson needs to move, and I think the club can free up, like I said, some wages. Forget the loan move, Beth. The reasons are said, because I don't think the Henderson's going to get a game. Sell him. Get some money and let's spend it where we need to spend it on this squad. We've got adequate goalkeepers, adequate number twos. I don't think Henderson he's needed at Manchester United. I'm not saying that in a bad way. He's a very good goalkeeper, but we got to look at it in reality. And reality is Geha's going to be number one now. He's rediscovered his form. He's got plenty of years left in him. And by the time Henderson does get in at United, he's going to be nowhere near that England squad. And where will he be? Will he have got better? He needs to move to Ajax for me, Beth. I think that is the ideal place for him. I think if he goes to Ajax, I think we could be seeing an England goalkeeper out of him.
Well, this is what I was thinking when I was reading this source and reading that the story he might be going to Ajax. I do think that would be a good move for him. I completely agree with everything you just said there. Don't think he's going to get a loan to a Premier League team that he wants to go to. There's just no space at the minute, and I do think Hugo Lloris is going to stay, and I don't see him getting in at Tottenham. So I think that is just not going to happen. Tottenham are probably edging the bets just in case, but Hugo Lloris is going to stay there, and I think he's going to be their number one. So when you look at the top Premier League sides, they're all settled with their goalkeepers. He's not really got a chance to get in there, and plus you don't really want him to go to another top Premier League side. That was our problem when we gave him that deal. Chelsea were very much interested, and I don't think Manchester United wanted that to happen. We give him that deal, and he, unfortunately, even though he is a good goalkeeper, there's only one spot for the goalkeeper in the team, and that it happens to be our best player at the moment. And like you said, David Gea does have a lot of years left. Goalkeepers sometimes even tend to get better with age and experience because they've got that experience there to guide them. You saw him get the captain's band after Bruno came off last night. Clearly a very good leader in there. I don't think there's any chance that Henderson's going to displace him. And because of how good his form is and how important every game is for Manchester United due to our form, he's simply just not going to get a game. We saw that even in the FA Cup last night. David De Gea for important games is going to be number one, and to be honest, rightly so. He is one of our best players, and he's our number one goalkeeper. So I think he massively deserves to keep his spot in them FA Cup games. It's a really important competition for us. So we'll just have to see what happens with Henderson. But if I was Manchester United, I would let him leave this January. I think he needs it for his career. I think he needs to excel. He needs to get to game time, and we have got Tom Heaton, who is a good second choice goalkeeper, and looking at David De Gea's injury record, I think it's not as important to keep three goalkeepers, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Speaking about Spurs, got an interest in a few of our players apparently. I mean, I don't mind it if it comes to offloading these players, getting some money for them and actually investing in players that are going to play for our first team. I do not mind one bit, but apparently Tottenham Hotspur have contacted Jesse Lingard's representatives for a potential move. I think this would be a good move for Jesse. I think Jesse needs a club like this. I'm not saying a club like this because Spurs are fighting for top four with us as well. But I think ultimately Manchester United, they don't have space for Jesse Lingard in that team. I think Spurs do. So when you look at Spurs and Jesse Lingard, could get a little bit of money for him. He's going to get regular playing time. He's going to be under a top-class manager who is going to be fighting for top four, 100%. He's not come to Spurs to just mess about, and you can see the improvement he's already made. Do you think this is a good move for Jesse, and should he be going for that move? Because we've got reports coming out that we'll get on to a minute where maybe he's not actually that inclined to go.
Yeah, I mean, we know, born and bred, Mank, all the story, been at United since he was a little kid, and to be honest, you got to look at it now when you go, right, Jesse, what do you want, mate? Do you want to be sat on the bench? Ranić is not going to play you. Ranić is not going to put you in that first team. You're going to barely get on off the bench. The only reason you got on last night because Ronaldo, Maguire, Sancho, all these players were out of the squad. That's the only reason Lingard got time last night, and the fact that it was the FA Cup. His days are numbered at Manchester United. Like Henderson, I think because he's already touted he could possibly go. He's been rumoured to be wanting to stay, and I think Ole sort of convinced him in the summer to stay under, again, false pretense that he's actually going to get game time. Excuse me, he's not going to get game time at Manchester United. So what do you want, Jesse? That's the question you've got to ask him. Do you want to be playing in Qatar? Because we know Southgate will pick you as long as you've got regular game time. Do you want to be there? If you stay at United, you're not going to be at Qatar. It's as simple as that, because you're not going to get game time. He's fallen down the pecking order in the England squad. He's fallen down the pecking order at United. You look at all the signs, and as a player, and looking at it from a player's perspective, you've got to look at it and go, yeah, it's not working out, this. It's quite clear. It's not working out. And I know you've got love for the club, but I've seen him twice under Ralph Ranić, in fact. He wasted his chance against young boys, and last night he came on, and I know he didn't have a lot of time. He did nothing, really. He did absolutely nothing. I just don't see the enthusiasm that was once there in Jesse. He's saying things, but it's like Rashford. They all come out and they say these things, but the body language and the way they play doesn't collaborate. It's not the same. Jesse Lingard's days are done at Manchester United for me. I think Tottenham, I could see him fitting in at Tottenham. I can see him working for Conte. We'd be, we'd probably be on the back end of it because you know what Jesse's like. He'll probably end up scoring against us at Old Trafford when he comes towards the back end of the season, and he won't be good for us. But again, I'm looking at it from a player's perspective. He's gone in the summer, no matter what. If we can get a few squid now for him, then great. That's probably a bonus, but I just don't see it working at United, Beth. And that just tells me, look, Jesse, just cut your losses, mate. It's time to go and move on. Next stage of your career, you may be able to salvage your career because at the moment, like a lot of United players, it's going down the pan. If I was him, I'd be looking at it and going, look at the deterioration of a lot of United players' careers right now. You could go through a list of them, Beth. Even ones that have just come to the club. There's a lot of regression right now in players individually. I'd be like, I love the club, but I'm a professional as well. For us fans, it's different. We can't see why, but as a professional footballer, if I was Jesse Lingard, pains me to say it, I've had my time at United, but it's time to leave. And I think he will salvage his career if he moves away from Manchester United. If he stays, dare say it, Beth, I think his career's over.
Jesse Lingard is one of them players you've always wanted to work out for him. It hasn't. He's had moments at Manchester United. He's impacted great games for us. And when he came onto the scene, he did look like a great talent. But unfortunately, there is just people in there that are ahead of him and are going to always be ahead of him. His position, Bruno Fernandes, going to be ahead of him. Donny van der Beek, new signing. He's got, for me, something different to offer in the midfield roles. He can play the six. So he's going to get in ahead of him. You look at the wing positions. Yes, people aren't in form right now, but they're always going to pick Rashford, Sancho, Greenwood over Jesse Lingard. Don't forget, these are all young players. Jesse Lingard he's not coming towards the end of his career, but he is in his late 20s now. He's not got absolutely loads of it left. And I think when you look at him and look at what he could potentially do, look at what he did with West Ham, I think he needs to make that move. He could be a player in the Premier League that every week we're talking about, like we were with West Ham. I think he won a Player of the Month award. He did really well when he fits into a system, and he's played in a team where he suits the team. He doesn't suit this Manchester United side. He's got things that he can offer off the bench, but he's never going to be a starter for us. So I do think he needs to leave. And like you said, Qatar World Cup is coming up. If he waits until the summer, that is very, very risky of him. And I don't know why he's waiting. Might be for a bit of a payday. Might be because he's not got that transfer fee. He's going to get a bigger wage. He has more options, probably, yes. But Spurs are a good side that are fighting for top four. So if Spurs are interested in him, I do think it'd be a good move for him to make. I mean, Simon Stone saying that Tottenham have spoken to Jesse Lingard's camp for a summer move. Lingard doesn't want to leave Manchester United this month, but out of contract at the end of the season. Was told by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that he would get chances this season, but they've not materialised. See, Simon Stone saying it's a summer move there because Jesse doesn't want to leave this month. For me, that makes me feel like he wants a summer move, maybe due to the contract situation. I don't think there could be any other reason because for me, if you're Ralph, knowing Jesse wants to leave, knowing the limited game time he's had already, knowing the options you've got, is Jesse playing any important games for you this season, if any?
No, like I said, Beth, his days are numbered. Looking at it from the club's perspective, I hold the same stance that I do with Paul Pogba. His contract, he's probably on the table. He's probably been offered one. He would have been offered one. Jesse, he's not signed it. So really, he can say he loves the club. He doesn't want to leave. I look at that and I sort of dissect that and translate that as I want as much money with a signing on fee as I can get in the summer. This is my last probably big contract. I don't really care about how much I'm going to cost United or how much I'm going to lose. I mean, I had a rant about 2 years ago, Beth, when he signed his latest deal. It was probably later, further back than that, actually. But I said, what's the point? And people were coming back to me, yeah, he's got this sell on. He's got the sell on. We need to sign these contracts because of the sell on. And like, well, we come to an end. He's done nothing for us while he's had that contract. And now we're going to lose money on him. It's the same with Pogba. It's like, why are we giving him these deals? you're not going to get any money for him in the long run. So you can take the argument of you've got the sell-on factor and the fact that he's under a contract, we can get more money for him. Take that out of the equation completely with these two. Jesse Lingard is exactly the same. He's leaving in the summer because he wants more money for himself. And he's not going to come out and say that. If he did come out and say it, we'd all say, well, yeah, you was promised game time by Ollie in the summer. It's not materialised, and we can't really hold it against you at the end of the day. But for me, he's leaving because he wants more money for himself, Beth. He's waiting till the summer, and he's just happy to burn a spot on that bench where I could be seeing a Hannibal or an Ahmad sat, and that's what pisses me off. Lunchtime, I know, I shouldn't swear, but yeah, it winds me up, Beth.
Well, hopefully, anyone who's watching this who shouldn't hear this swearing will be in school, so we'll be fine. We'll be fine with that one. But I look at Jesse Lingard and I'm like, why would you risk the payday not to go to the World Cup, which could be a very exciting World Cup for England with all the talent we've got? It blows my mind. It really, really does. But if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. He's following in the same steps of Paul Pogba, who is also looking at his options, also looking what money he can get. And I think ultimately this all went wrong in the summer when we didn't sell him to West Ham. We could have got money for him. We could have got decent money for Jesse Lingard, and we chose not to do it. And Ollie said he was going to get chances. He didn't really get chances apart from a few cameos off the bench. So we just need to be a lot stronger and a lot more decisive with our business and stop hedging our bets and just think when a player's time comes to an end, a player's time comes to an end. And there's a lot of players at that club, Adam, that we could mention here that need to go. Get a tiny bit of money from him, and we can afford to invest into someone this January if we would have been sorted beforehand, organised our transfers, and understood who's going to be sold this January, who's going to be sold in the summer, who can we put on loan, what investments do we need to make in this January, what players do we need. If they would have organised all this, we wouldn't have seen the standstill that we've got this January, because for me, there is no excuses. You see clubs like Aston Villa going out, getting Coutinho, possibly getting Basuma, interest in Lucas Dean. They're making moves, they're doing business, they know what they want, and Gerrard's not been in there for too long. I mean, it's the difference in how clubs are run. And I just think Manchester United don't want to spend any money this January. They really don't. Probably don't want to trust in Rangnick because he's not going to be here in the summer. He's going to be upstairs, but he's not going to be the manager. They probably want to wait for the new manager. For me, that's completely the wrong way to look at it, because looking at that midfield last night, yes, McFred, great link up for that goal. 100% appreciate that. One of the better crosses that we've put in all season from Fred, to be fair. Really good ball in the box. But simply looking at that midfield last night, it is not good enough. And if we play every game in the Premier League with that midfield, Adam, do you see us getting top four? Because the midfielder could be the difference.
It is literally the difference, Beth. I said it last night. I mean, the defence has to trust that midfield and the forward line has to trust that midfield. They clearly don't. Last night, Fred and McTominay reverted back to type. We ended up with a back six. They were that deep because the game was on the line. And I did blame the forwards for not finishing and not giving the midfield and defence a bit of leeway, because if they take their chances and we do more with him, make the right decision, then the game's pretty much out of sight and it's a bit more comfortable. It's less pressured. But at 1-0, it's a pressure cooker, and then you need characters, Beth. You need characters. You need players that are going to have the balls to grab hold of that ball and take the game by the scruff of the neck. We haven't got that in Scott McTominay and Fred. And the scariest thing from last night, and obviously I was at the game and I didn't hear everything until afterwards in terms of interviews and post-match, but Rangnick's comments on Scott McTominay, I find that indefensible. I really do. I find that. I mean, I can see the attitude.
To say it, is it? It's not the first manager to say it. Managers seem to love Scott McTominay. I understand.
I don't understand
energy on the pitch. I understand when it comes to mentality, but simply you can't just be a captain on the pitch all the time because of mentality. You do have to have the game to come with it, don't you? Really?
Yeah. You say mentality. I don't think he's got the mentality. I said it the other day, and it got clipped up when I said McTominay celebrating every game like it's a Champions League final. I mean, we're not Burnley, we're not relegation survival, and you're not scoring goals against absolutely world-beating teams that goal is worth celebrating like that for. I mean, yeah, by all means, go and celebrate the goal. Great stuff. I'm really pleased for you, and I am. But don't come over at the end, clapping the fans, fist pumping like we've just won the Champions League, like I said at the time. The mentality of a captain at Manchester United is that is just a small fraction of what we need to be doing. Clap the fans, get off the pitch, let's get back to the training ground, let's go again, because we need to produce more every single week and it needs to get better every single week. It doesn't, it gets worse. We have a little glimmer, it goes back again. That's not a captain. First of all, a captain has to be a quality, and the singing section brought up the standards banner again last night with a picture of Cantona, Keane and Robson with standards underneath it. It's there for everyone to see. Everyone knows what these fans expect from their captain. Yeah, you're not always going to have the perfect captain, but you need to have characteristics for it. First of all, you need to be doing your job absolutely perfect. And I could say all them three on that banner did that. I could say Vidic did that, Ferdinand did that, Evra did that. They were absolutely on point in what they had to do. Harry Maguire does not do that. Bruno did not do that last night. I said last night, give the captain's armband to Raphael Varane, because I know he's one player
Great
who
last night.
will. I know what I mean. People will say, "Oh, it's too soon. It's too soon." It's too soon for Maguire, but he got it. So I'm looking at who I pick as a captain. We discussed it on the show today. Who are our leaders? Raphael was a leader last night. My God, that guy was. I've never seen composure like it. Absolutely outstanding. That is a captain, and that's who should be getting it, because you look at him and he's unflappable. Everything that was going on around him, he still carried on playing his game. McTominay doesn't do that, Beth. He reverts back to tight and he cowers away. I hate to say it, and I don't like to overly slag players off, but I've seen it too many times. And last night, again, when you needed someone to get your foot on the ball, it just wasn't good enough. And we know he's not got it. And for me, that makes you not captain material straight away, Beth.
Yeah. With Scott McTominay, for me, wouldn't be my captain because I just don't think his game's there. He's not consistent and he's not a top-class midfielder. When you look at the captains that we've had, top class in their position. Another reason why I don't think Harry Maguire should be captain, he's not top class in his position. He's really not. I thought he had the potential to be. Starting to lose that thought because it's been poor for so long. But Varane, watching him last night, the amount how it exposed our defence got, I thought he coped so well, and I thought composed, calm, very, very, very good attitude, and I wouldn't be against that. I would not be against it. I think he has got that leader's mentality. When I was watching his interview when he first joined United, I remember him saying he's not the one that shouts in the dressing room, but he is vocal when he needs to be, and he leads by example. And I think that is important from a player. There can be many different types of leaders, and I think he definitely has leadership qualities. I mean, you've got to be when you've won what you've won, and Real Madrid were debating keep making him captain before he moved to us. So I think there is a shout there from you for that, to be honest. And when going on in the midfield again, I've just seen Mark's tweet here saying that apparently he's named the 8 that have had enough from the source, the MEN. Martial January, Henderson January, Mata January. This is when they want to leave. Pogba summer, Lingard summer, Donny summer, Bayer summer, Jones summer. You look at Pogba, Lingard, Donny there. 3 midfielders that want to leave in summer, probably or will leave in summer. We're going to need a box-to-box and we're going to need a CDM, because when I looked at Scott and Fred last night, I thought these are both box-to-box players. Scott's evolved in his game. He's got 3 goals in 3 games now, which fair enough. You know, he's adding goals to his game. Fred, he can be that box-to-box player as well, but he also a little bit more defensive in the terms that his skill is getting close to the ball, pressing players. But when you look at both them players, they're not good enough for United first team. They're both box-to-box squad players. We need an elite box-to-box player, an elite CDM, and I think we'll have to wait till January. I think it'll massively depend on what new manager comes in and who he sees fitting into his team. And I think it's going to be a massive summer for United when it comes to outgoings, getting rid of unhappy players, getting a manager in, getting his plan down, and getting players in that want to play for this club, want to play for the new manager, and actually are of a top class quality. So that, guys, is possibly something we can look forward to if things happen that need to happen. But again, the reset button, it has been pushed. Another thing I wanted to get on to, Adam, with you, because I saw your match vlog last night, and I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing. These forward players at Manchester United, we said, wow, our front line, one of the best front lines in the Premier League. Wow, we're so lucky to have these players. It is not working at the moment. We're creating chances, but we're making the wrong decisions. all of them seem to be in poor form, which can't be a coincidence, particularly when you look at Rashford. I feel sorry for him on the pitch. I mean, I think he will get back to his best. I'm not gonna slander him on here, but he's not good enough at the moment. Even Greenwood last night didn't look his usual self. What is the problem with the front line? Looking at that game last night, looking at how it's been over the last month, few weeks, do you think there is a problem?
Yeah, it clearly is a problem. There's unrest in there, Beth. It's the only way to describe it, or the only way to sort of figure out what's going on is to look at what's happening behind the scenes, because you just said it then, the quality of these players is there. We all know how good they are. We know how good Rashford was, Greenwood, Cavani, Ronaldo, Sancho. I mean, proof is in the stats and the seasons before. You know what I mean? We've got two of the world's best. We've got one of the best assists in Sancho over the last 4 seasons from the Bundesliga, not doing anything. The combination is wrong for me. It's all wrong. The actual sort of chemistry in that front line is not working. I think there's too many. There's too many chefs in the kitchen, Beth, as they say. I think at times last night I seen Bruno was playing as a false nine. I'm like, how many forwards do we need on the pitch? I know that looks like it's going back to old Ricky comments and stuff like that there with that too many forwards on the pitch. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm just looking at when we go forward, no one seems to know where to be. That's the problem I'm looking at. I looked at Rashford last night and Shaw's there. I've seen Bruno pointing to it. I've seen Luke Shaw pointing to it when he was going down the line. Literally just saying, Rashford, I need the overlap. I need the overlap. He doesn't want to be on the wing. He wants to be a centre forward. And then you look at that moment when the keeper spilled the ball from Greenwood's shot and Rashford was nowhere near. Rashford wasn't even alive, not even in a centre forward's position. I anticipate.
I think we might have just lost Adam there. No, I don't think he's coming back. But if he comes out and comes back in, this is why you shouldn't do a show in your car, Adam, when we're doing a show, because you don't get the Wi-Fi. But anyway, I'll carry on from his point that he was making when it comes to Rashford. Last night for me, when it comes down to Rashford, I think a player that's bang, bang, bang out of form, a player that wants to do well but cannot do well. And for me, the only thing I couldn't understand was the body language, because I was putting myself in that situation. I've been out of form for months. I want to try and prove he's back. I want to try and prove to myself that I am good enough. I want to show the fans that I can play in this position. I want to apologise for how I've played over the last few months by the performance on the pitch, which is what he put in his comment when he came out and spoke. But the thing I thought was, why would you have that body language if you were trying to be positive, you were trying to get into the game, you're trying to have that winning mentality? I just don't think the body language portrayed what he said in his post, which for me is worrying, because I know that he loves Manchester United. But for you, Adam, looking at that body language, were you worried about?
Big time. Scared for him, in fact, Beth, because everyone's seen that picture of him in the stands afterwards when the camera panned to him. He just looked like a lost soul. He looked like everything had left his body. He needs time away, I think. He needs time on the training ground. He needs to go and rediscover himself, because if they keep playing him, Beth, I do feel like he's going to get worse. That's my problem with it. He's getting worse with every game he plays right now. And there's a stage. And again, I go back to what Ralph said after the game, and he wasn't concerned about it. I was like, oh, Ralphie, don't be doing this to me, mate. Don't be talking like this.
I think he's only saying that for the press.
Yeah. Don't be going down the road Ollie went down. I mean, I think there's more there with Ralph. And obviously, a new manager coming in, it's going to be a different outlook than what it was last season with Ollie and stuff like that and going into the summer. But Rashford right now, I think everyone agreed, just needs taking out of the team. I think you said it as well, and Beth. It was a case of take him away, take him out of the limelight, and let him just rediscover himself, because he's lost that. He's playing scared, and I say this a lot. He is playing scared. And when he was one of the players last night that just didn't know what to do when he was in possession of the ball. And for all of them to go down at the same time is a massive concern. But when you see one of your forwards go down, and I seen players not wanting to pass to Rashford last night, I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like he's open, and he's gone the other way. I was like, oh, that is a clear sign that something is seriously wrong with inside the squad and the team. And that's why Rashford needs taking out. Everyone knows how good he is. Everyone knows what potential he could have. He could be one of United's all-time top scorers if he got himself back together again. And he was on track for that. But he's dropped so far off the page, I'd be concerned if he wasn't concerned and alarmed by the drop-off, Beth, because that's how drastic it is. It is beyond belief how bad he is right now. And the moans and groans in the stadium of his own fans, his own Manchester United supporters, are not going to help him right now. They want to get behind him, but at the end of the day, we've been deprived of decent football for so long now that even if it's a player that you like, you're going to start moaning, you're going to start kicking off, and it's no good for the confidence of these players, especially if you're struggling mentally. And it is a mental problem that Rashford has got right now. He is gone, Beth. He needs taken out of the limelight, and the pressure needs to be off his shoulders because he's carrying the world on his shoulders every time he walks out on that pitch at the moment. You can see it. He looks a shadow, an absolute shadow. I'm sorry, I'm gutted. I'm absolutely devastated for him. But as supporters, we want the best for our team, and we have to look at that as well and say, look, Rashford, mate, you're not good enough right now. You need benching. Oh, not even benching. I wouldn't have him on the bench, Beth. I wouldn't even have him as an option right now. That's how far I'd take it. I'd say you need at least 2 weeks off, and you need to go and discover yourself because he's lost, Beth. He's completely lost.
It is actually sad to watch, but it also is frustrating for the fans in the ground when it comes to Rashford, and you can see the decision he should make, and it seems like every single time it's the wrong one. He's losing possession, he's getting frustrated at himself, he loses even more confidence in himself, and it feels like he gets the ball, he just doesn't want to do something wrong to the point he keeps doing it wrong because he's overthinking it so much. And there is a player there. We've seen a player in there before, and I just hope that he does get that break that I think he deserves. Like we were talking about before the show started, massive injury problem, no preseason, lost the Europa League final, lost the Euros final. I don't know what's happening in one's personal life. You don't want to comment on that, but these aren't excuses, of course they're not. Part of football comes with injuries, losing finals. You've got to pick yourself back up and carry on. You've got to have that mentality to get through it and get yourself back to your best. But this is a young lad that's had a lot early on, and he's had a lot of praise, and he's going through a bad patch of form, and very, very bad patch of form. But I think you're right, he needs taken out because one, he's not performing on the pitch, it's altering other people's performances, and two, he's not gonna get any better for him keep playing through it and constantly criticizing himself and feeling awful coming off that pitch and not knowing what to do. I think he needs a lot of training behind the scenes. I think he needs a lot of coaching. I think he needs to talk with the psychologist that we've just got in, possibly see maybe if there's something going wrong there. And I think he needs some time to look at himself, redevelop himself, and come back even stronger. And I think that's what will happen. But someone just put a super chat in. JS here has put Greenwood. Oh, Greedwood. I mean, I'm not going to disagree after yesterday's performance. I think Greenwood is a very good player, and sometimes I'm not disappointed in his greediness because sometimes he deserves to have the shot for the work he's put in. There's not many other options on, and if you actually look back through the past of the season, he has assisted quite a few goals or created quite a few chances. He does do both, but the problem for me last night is decision making again. Both Rashford and Greenwood were making the wrong decisions. I think Greenwood, he deserved a few of the shots he had, but come on, he should have passed a lot more of them, and I think he needs to be told. You look there and I think he's not been told by Rangnick here for certain things, and that massively needs to happen because you look at the forward line. I think this is a main problem with what's going wrong. You've got Rashford, you've got Greenwood, both want to cut in and shoot, both inverted wingers, not natural wide players. You've got Cavani, who thrives off natural wide players in the middle, not getting any chances. But Tomine and Fred playing way, way too deep second half, not really getting up the pitch. And then you've got Bruno. That's all Cavani's got. So Cavani looks like he's had a poor performance. Rashford and Greenwood if they're not on form, they're going to have a poor performance. And then you've got Bruno that's trying to do everything, not getting any help from his midfielders in the pivot, and you've got no creation. And then when you look at Aston Villa's midfield, 4v2 basically. So then you think to yourself, if your wingers aren't providing, do you sacrifice it to have strength in the midfield and win the midfield battle? Looking forward to the Aston Villa game on Saturday, clearly we lost the midfield battle. Clearly the forward line didn't work. What are you looking to change if you are, Ralph?
when it comes just on that there, but you've got, like you said, all them forwards there clinging on to whatever form they can get, and they're just making the wrong decisions because they're trying to use this opportunity to just make their stance, and they're not thinking of the team. They're thinking individually, and it's coming across as greed, but they're trying to impress that much and do the right thing and be the hero that they've forgotten what they're doing for the team. And like you said, it has left Bruno exposed, and Bruno's trying to force it now, and he's looking bad for it. Cavani's looking bad for it. If I was going into the Villa game at weekend, I'm looking at it. I'm going, Sancho and Ronaldo come straight back in. I'm losing.
He has to play. He's the creative player, isn't he?
Yeah, Sancho. I think Greenwood will hold his place. Sancho will come in for Rashford.
Yeah, I think that'd be good pairing on the wings though, because you've got someone who is going to cut in and shoot, who has a very good shot on them, and he's very good at holding up the ball, keeping possession, and finding players. And they've got Sancho that's going to cross the ball, be a bit more creative with it. So it's a better combination.
Yeah, I do believe we need someone composing midfield. So Matic is going to come back in against Villa at Villa Park, and that really, Beth. Besides deciding whether Victor plays or Jones plays, is the changes that I'd make, because I'm happy with the back five. Victor's a slight concern for me, but it was his first game back last night, so clean sheet, benefit of the doubt. Maybe he should keep his spot next to Varane in that team. Shaw on the left. Dalot definitely keeps his spot on the right for me. He's shining light this season. He's really given me some encouragement.
For me, Dalot's miles ahead of Wan-Bissaka in terms of starting for Manchester United right now. I really am liking his performances. There's some bit elements he can improve, but I think looking at potential wise and stuff he brings to the game, I think he's massively important to us.
Yeah, he did. He's better on the ball than Wan-Bissaka. He can learn. He's getting better at his defensive duties. I do believe he's quicker as well. And like you said, he offers us so much more. And I was enjoying the link up with him and Greenwood in the first half in particular. That's where he was looking dangerous. I was hoping Shaw and Rashford would do likewise, but it was mainly Shaw who was shining light down the left. Rashford.
Shaw's suspended next game, apparently.
Oh, yeah, Shaw and McTominay are out. Sorry, that's correct. So, obviously, Telles, Dalot, Varane, Lindelof at the back. And then I would go Matic and Donny. Because I'm not playing Fred. I do believe that Ranieri's sticking to his word of this physicality issue. Fred's not got it. He really hasn't got it. Last night he was brushed off the ball like he was not there. He's not strong enough for a Ralph team. This could be the perfect opportunity for a Matic and Donny. It's whether or not he tries to convert someone else because he knows he can't trust anyone, Beth. That's the thing. And that, you know what, Matic definitely. Can we get Donny in that team against Villa? He's talked about it. He bigged up his performance when he came on, Ranieri. So maybe that's a good sign that he's actually happy with Donny and what the work he's putting in. Maybe it's not the end. Maybe, clutching at straws, Beth, but maybe it could be the moment. Maybe it could be the moment when Donny comes in and we actually have a good game. I don't know. But physicality-wise, I would pick Donny over Fred any day of the week. And you know what? There's nothing that McTominay does that Donny van der Beek can't do from what I've seen either. So, yeah, I would be happy to see Matic and Donny in that double pivot in front of the defence. I think they'll offer more protection as well because they won't give the ball away as easy as Scott and Fred do.
I think I would love to see Donny play. I'm very, very scared it's going to be Matic and Fred, which for me is the worst combination we have in the midfield. I mean, I'm not a fan of many of the combinations, to be honest. And then again, when we're thinking about the midfield options, I was like, wow, there literally isn't any. But you think about it, and it's like, I can't deal with Matic and Fred for 90 minutes. Watch them play amazingly now. But I just come back to that Southampton game, hit the start of the season, and I couldn't bear it. I do think it's a very stagnated midfield when you pair them two together. I don't want to see that. I want to see Matic and Donny. I want someone in there that's going to be progressive, and I think Donny can do that. And I think Matic could hold the midfield very well, be composed, pick the passes, find the lines. We know he has a good through ball on him, help the defence out, and Donny can have that freedom to get forward a little bit and help Bruno out. So I think that should be what happens. And I think Donny deserves his chance, massively does. And you're right, to be fair, Ralph bigging him up after the game. could be an indication. I think if you knew that he was going to start next game, that's something you'd want to do. You'd want him to get that confidence. You'd want to encourage him. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. And it is encouraging that he got some minutes last night. I was happy for him. Obviously, again, not enough to make a massive impact. But Ralph was right. We started to control the game more because we had another midfielder in that can keep the ball, stay composed, makes good runs. And I'm excited to see what he does if he does play and does get that game time. It will be exciting to see. Moving on to a player that I really like and I think definitely should get more game time and seems to have got a little bit more game time under Ralph. Anthony Lingard coming on last night.
Yeah.
I thought he did more. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to certain players. He did more when he came on for them few minutes than Rashford did the whole game. I thought his energy was amazing. He looked like he wanted to play when he was trying to get in the crowd going. The crowd's going to love that. That is what you want on the pitch. And he's a young player, eager for a chance, wants to fight for his place. Is there any reason why he shouldn't be getting more game time with the form that our forwards are in at the minute?
Yeah, you literally just reminded me there, Beth. I forgot about Elanga in terms of the selection for Villa this weekend at Villa Park, because I was putting that question to everyone last night, actually, on the vlogs as well, and they said the same thing. It's no disrespect at all, Beth, in what you're saying. He did do more. He went down the line. I mean, he skinned Cash. Like, he wasn't even there. And this pace is absolutely frightening. So I looked at that and I went, there's a player there. He's geeing up the fans. He wants to play for Manchester United. There's a player there that wants that shirt. He's just got his new deal and he's going to take his opportunity. He sort of comes across as a man. It's like, I've got this shirt. It's mine. I'm going to take every single opportunity that I get. And that's the type of player that you need. That's the infectious player. And you know what? I feel like would you start him against Villa? It's a tough game to come in and start. It really is. But hopefully, he may get like 20, 25 minutes off the bench or something like that.
That's what I'm hoping for him. A little bit longer off the bench, I think, is needed for him at this point. Because coming on making that impact, when you look at it, for me, the only reason Rashford's even getting a place at the minute is because of his pace and what he can do on the counter-attack. Elanga's got that in heaps. He's quick. And he's got a very good strike on him. We saw what he did when he came into the team towards the end of last season when we had the Europa League final and Ollie was playing a different team in the league. And he came on, he scored against Wolves. He played very, very well. Start of this season, I think he's played well. Young boys game, he was a little bit quiet, but I think with Bruno on the pitch with him, I think that'll be very, very exciting. If he can get on the end of one of Bruno's balls, I think he's very eager, he's very hungry. And God, the comments going to say something. He's very hungry, and I'm excited to see what he can do for us. But yeah, it is exciting. Like in all the doom and gloom that surrounds United at the minute, we're through in the FA Cup, which is what is needed. We had to get through in the FA Cup. We've done that. We've got Middlesbrough, which is quite a good draw. Touch wood, because they're in good form, and you can't honestly guarantee United to win any game at the minute. And you have got a promising youth player coming through in Anthony Lingard, and that is something that you should be looking forward to. You should be hopeful for, and hopefully you can see him develop even more. And just really to finish up on Adam, going into the Aston Villa game, do you expect Manchester United to get more control in that game on Saturday, or are you worried about it?
No, I'm petrified. Simply.
I think you just said what everyone in the comments and me were thinking.
Yeah, absolutely petrified. I'll be honest. I can't see the comments actually from this setup that I've got. So yeah, I'm guessing what the comments are saying, and judging off what they've watched on the pitch, looking at the fact that Coutinho's coming into that midfield. I'm looking at Buendia. I'm looking at McGinn. I'm looking at Coutinho as maybe a free running at our defence and our midfield. Then Watkins and Ings. I mean, yeah, it does sort of put the fear of death in you, doesn't it? But you've got to look at it and go, we've got players there, and I hate to use the word hope that they're going to turn up all of a sudden, Beth, but that is all we've literally. Are they going to just switch on and all of a sudden it clicks? I don't know. There's going to be one game where
that is very hopeful.
Yeah, because it's like you said, but it's like if you put the right players in place, you've got a chance in terms of that mental side of it, because that atmosphere is going to be electric at Villa Park at weekend. Do not kid yourself. If the last two times they've had chance since they've been up in the Premier League, it's been behind closed doors. This is the first time that United have been to town in God knows how long for Aston Villa. They are going to be all over this, like they're going to be well up for it, and the players are going to have to be mentally strong. One bad kick, one bad pass is going to be jumped on like it was at Newcastle, and that's when we started to go into our shells in that game, and we were never able to recover. They have to have the courage of their convictions from the get-go. Otherwise, Villa will walk all over us, Beth, and I will not be surprised if we come off with a 3-0 defeat. The players have to be on it, Beth. Otherwise, it's going to be a very, very bad Saturday.
100%. We cannot allow them to get through our midfield the way they did yesterday. I mean, if they do that, yesterday could have easily been like, if we wasn't careful, it could have been a battering. Like the amount of chances they got and the amount they missed, but also we did get chances as well that we missed. And in the end, did we deserve to win? I don't think I could say that. I think they probably deserved the extra time, Villa, definitely, and they deserved that extra chance. But VAR helped us out. We're through in the FA Cup. Massive game in the Premier League, especially still kind of hoping on for top four. It's a must-win game. We have to win it. If we don't win it again, the mood comes right down from the fans. Everyone's annoyed at our league form. And it is what United need now is they need a string of results. I mean, we might not be playing the best, but they need to put some results together because that is massive and it lifts the confidence and it takes a little bit of pressure off. Not that you can take much pressure off this season because now towards the end of the season, every game is a cup match and you've got to win it if you're in hopes of top four. Anyway, just to finish up, there's just a super chat here that I want to read out. Do you think we might play with the diamond with Donny on Saturday like we did in the last 20 minutes yesterday? I don't think so. I think that was just a change in formation to help control the game and compose it. So I don't think we'll revert to that for a full game against Aston Villa. I don't think so. But I think it was just a tactic. But anyway, that is the end of the show. I'm excited for the Aston Villa game. We've got more shows coming up. We've got the Thursday night show coming. And Adam, thanks for being on today. And you'll be on. I'm sure you'll be on a show very soon. And hopefully we can get that win on Saturday.
Yeah, plenty coming up. Road trip back as well this weekend, guys. Yes. Obviously,
he's just giving you a little teaser for it now.
Yeah, that's it. I wanted to just remind you all. Damn, Romano, how dare you take my spot? But yeah, back loads going on, guys. Cheers for tuning in. Everyone who came over last night on the fan vlogs, we had a load of brilliant input last night, and again, more the same against Villa. Hopefully talking about another win, Beth, that weekend. But yeah, until then, guys, I will see you. I'll see you at Villa.
Yeah, hopefully we get another win. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Thank you for all the comments. Thanks for all the chats. Like and subscribe. And I'm still laughing at the comments about what I said about Bruno's, about Elanga getting on the end of Bruno's balls. But anyway, guys, thank you for being here with us today and have a brilliant rest of your day. And me and Adam will both see you soon on here on the United Stand. Thank you, guys.